Hello there and welcome to this podcast. My name's Pete Snow, I'm the pastor of St Paul's Haringey. And we have an Easter tradition here in Haringey of inviting poetry contributions. We call it a poetry call. Anyone's welcome to submit something, they don't have to call themselves a Christian. We just said that we were particularly looking this year for poetry on the theme of either loss or hope. We've had some great submissions, so thank you to everyone who's sent them in. We've got some talented poets out there, and you've obviously been waxing lyrical in lockdown. Now this podcast, it's not all the poems that we've received. They're going to be on paper outside our church building over the Easter weekend and also on our website. But we just took advantage of having a few of the poets under the same roof to record their poems on audio so that you could listen to them at your podcasting leisure. So I do hope you enjoy. Now our first poem is from Sarah Snow, and Sarah, you've written a poem which is about getting perspective on suffering in the present. So just tell us, before you read it, what's your poem all about?
I came across this verse in Romans. It's in chapter 8, verse 18, and it says, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." And as I was thinking about that, it just struck me that this glory must be immense. The fact that anything that we suffer here on earth is not worth comparing with that is extraordinary. So as we've watched people close to us this last year suffer some really hard things, and as we ourselves have experienced great loss this last year, it just struck me that actually those things aren't even going to be worth comparing with the glory that will come. It's going to be great. So I wrote this poem based on that verse. It is not worth comparing our present sorrow with the glory that will replace it tomorrow. Not the desperation for this season to end, nor the heavy absence of a missing friend. Not the steady decline of my once strong mother, nor the tragedy of never seeing each other. Not the longing to go back to how things were, nor the pain of knowing that there is no cure. It is not worth comparing our present sorrow with the glory that will replace it tomorrow. Not the bleak existence of the anxious mind, nor depression's prison making hope seem blind. Not the struggle to take just one step more, nor the fear of stepping outside the door. Not the piercing blackout of physical pain, nor the prescriptions needed just to keep sane. It is not worth comparing our present sorrow with the glory that will replace it tomorrow. This glory, it will be like nothing on earth when we're changed on the day of our second birth. The sun will be dulled by his glorious light as he shatters all darkness, making everything right.
Now Carl Brooks Plunkett has written a poem. It's called I Am Lost. So Carl, I think there are two voices in your poem. There's a son and a father. So what's yours all about?
So this is a poem that is based on a story that Jesus tells in Luke chapter 15. It's a story about a son and a father. The son leaves home and ends up getting lost, and the father longs for his return. And this poem seeks to capture the emotion and the feelings of both the son and the father, particularly as the son comes home. Jesus tells us that this story is a picture of God our Father and of us when we come back to him. I am lost. I was foolish and ignorant the day when I said, "Father, I want what is mine. I wish you were dead." I am lost. I did not walk, I ran as I left home behind, going out on my own, myself seeking to find. I am lost. Pain and heartache I caused but did not care. The inheritance was mine, I just wanted my share. But now I am lost.
He is lost. My son, my boy, my child whom I loved. He took what was mine, my own flesh and blood. He is lost. My heart breaks today, just the same as it did, when he wished I was dead for a couple of quid. He is lost. Yet I stand, and I watch as I look out and wait, as I long for the day that he walks through that gate. But now, he is lost.
I am lost. I have nothing, no clothes on my back and no food I can eat. I sold all that I own, even the shoes from my feet. I am lost. now no better than pigs, the ones I feed even as I hunger, and I think and I dream of the feasts I ate when younger. I am lost, and I know what I should do, and yet I cannot. Go home, return, give back what I've no longer got. I am not lost, I am dead.
He is lost. My heart within me longs for his return, to come back to our home, for this I do yearn. He is lost. His actions and words, they were painful for sure, but he is my son, my love for him is more. He is lost, and I want him to be found, to be by my side, to know forgiveness that only I can provide. He is not lost, he is dead.
I hope. Perhaps I can work for my father instead, not worthy as a son, but as a servant I dread. I hope. Forgiveness something I do not deserve, and nor can I earn. But to be back at home with my father, this I do yearn. I hope to see his face once more as I fall on my knees and say, Father, I am sorry, forgive me, please. I hope.
I hope that he may yet come to see sense, and come back home where he needs no defence. I hope that he knows that his place is as my son. That is still true today, even after what he's done. I hope to see his face once more as I run out to meet him, to embrace, to kiss, to tell him I love him. I hope.
I have journeyed for months and weeks and days, and now I see home as I look up and gaze at the house I grew up in, the one I left behind. I come back to it now, not knowing what I will find. My father, angry and wrathful, that would be his right. Forgiveness he does not owe me, to see me is no delight. But I will fall on my knees and acknowledge my wrong, to cry out for mercy even though I no longer belong. As I draw closer to home, I look up and see something, someone running towards me. I am weary from travel, but my vision now clears. It is my father, he is running, to me he now nears. Anxiety and fear, love and hope, they build up inside, as I fall to my knees, having been humbled from my pride. I look up at him now and I begin to speak, but he cuts me off, embraces me and kisses my cheek. The tears they flow now as I remember his love, and here in his arms my heart soars like a dove. I wait as he holds me to hear what he will say.
Welcome home, my son, we rejoice in this day. For once you were lost, but now you are found. You were dead, but now in you life does abound. Come home, my son, come and take your place. You have come home, so come, enjoy my grace.
Now, finally, it says in my notes that Pete Snow has written a poem. That's me, actually. I wanted to contribute something because, for myself, I've known a bit of loss and a lot of hope in this last year. My son died of a genetic disorder in 2020, and I found actually that his of all the harrowing moments in that process, the burial was perhaps the bleakest of all. I found that writing this poem, as I read poems that other people had written, I found that writing on my own was a way of processing some of the flashbacks I've been having, and I also found that there were certain parallels with the famous burial of Jesus Christ that happened at Easter time. Matthew's Gospel, chapter 27, says, Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new tomb. This poem's called The Burial. Blind rainfall, bleak graveyard, light and laughter out of sight. Wet mud, fresh dug, reserved for death's encroaching night. Heavy arms, heavy steps, what a path to have to tread. Clean linen, crisp flowers, laid upon a muddy bed. O my son, you precious treasure, sunk beneath the turf. Such an innocent, sunk in mud you went, as death snuck in and took you first. I still look down and just see mud, cold and bleak and brown. Great loss, deep loss, loss that never gets undone. His grave, my grave, buried with the son I love. My God, not mud, takes this sun to reign above. Angels camping, sorrows dampening, face like lightning by the tomb. Grave not needed, grace now pleaded, gone ahead to see me soon. Thank you for listening. We hope it's been an Easter blessing to you, and whatever loss or hope you've been dealing with in your own life, may these words help put a new song in your heart. I'll leave you with the words of my English teacher from school. I always remember her passing this on to us in class. She said, with a mischievous grin on her face, "Prose, that's words in their best order, but poetry is the best words in the best order." Happy Easter, everyone.